everyone, welcome to KO Create and Ramble, where we listen to rambles both past and present and create in all sorts of ways. Today's ramble comes from a recording made while driving to work on May 4th, 2021. As the recording plays, I'll be whipping out the old Infinite Illusions coloring book by John Wick. I'm gonna make a tasty tea, and let's create and ramble! What's up, recording? It is May 4th. Yeah. Hey, May the 4th be with you. Okay, May 4th, 2021. So, I just had a thought while I was driving to work. Well, I am currently. So, trying to make it short and sweet. But I was thinking about different personalities. And then I was thinking about God. And then I was thinking about this phrase, multifaceted. So I was thinking about like a jewel, you know, like a diamond or something, or some grand, glorious gem. And with all these like, you know, little multifaceted gem, right? That's what they say? With all these little nooks and crannies, no, like angles, you know, creating this, when light hits it, creating this beautiful array of color and sparkle. Okay, so there you go. So now imagine like, okay, so that's like the character of God is like this multifaceted, glorious, radiant light, right? And this is also kind of fun because today the name of God that we studied was God of Glory in the study I'm doing with Isa, so kind of fun. Was just kind of thinking about how glorious God is this morning. Yeah, so maybe that's playing into it too. But yeah, it's like, okay, so here is God, like, right, in all his glory and radiance and perfection and holiness and his character, and he makes man in his image, right? So here we are, mankind made in the image of God. And like, you know, and I was thinking about personality, and it's not the first time I've thought about this, but just this visual, you know, imagine like this radiant jewel, right? And it just shatters into like billions of pieces. And so then there's like all these various characteristics of God, right, that have been like broken apart. And I feel like that's, you know, mankind is like everybody has their own personality and characteristics and way about them. And kind of like when I talk about this, I mean kind of at their core, like the way they process information, the way they kind of feel about a certain, I don't know, like the way something should be handled, like whether they're organized or more like spontaneous, whether they're more serious, you know, or kind of jokester, just like all these different sort of characteristics that we can all carry. But yeah, you know what I mean, kind of like at the core of us, there's kind of this way that we are. And sometimes it can be hard because we clash with other people and their personalities like a lot because it's so opposite from our own, or just like, yeah, different from how we perceive things and make decisions. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? Obviously this is the best way to do this, and they're like, no, it's this way. And so it's kind of interesting though, because I think it's easy for us as humans to kind of obviously have a bias for ourselves and our own way of doing things. But like we can learn so much from people who are different from us, from the way they approach stuff, the way they make decisions, kind of, you know, that classic, oh shoot, okay, he's turning. I would have made it, you know. Sometimes I'm a little reckless these days on the roads. I'm not, the phone is in a stand though, not holding it, so there you go, that's something. But anyways, I'm getting off topic and I'm running out of real estate on the road. I'm almost to work. But, oh, the saguaro flowers, they are in bloom and it's beautiful. Some nice saguaros on my way to work that are blooming forth those beautiful white flowers. Anyways, I miss painting with Grandma. Okay, stay focused! So, like, here we are, right? And we can learn from each other and sharpen one another. It makes me think of, as iron sharpens iron, so there's one man sharpening another. And just how we grow from other people in our lives. Whether, it's a good experience or bad experience, you can always still learn from someone else. You can learn how you do not want to be, maybe by someone who displays character traits that maybe are negative, but then also there's people who it's not negative, it's just very different from how we do things, and so we can still learn from that. Like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's like the classic homage. I don't think I'm using that correctly.
Nope.
And I just made me think omashu. The man's name was Oma and the woman Shu. No, the woman's name was Oma and the man Shu. Omashu. So it's like that classic saying, put yourself in someone else's shoes. So it's kind of that whole idea, like, are we putting ourselves in someone else's shoes? And it can be good when we do that, because one, we can kind of have empathy for people that maybe our first reaction is like, wow, that's so dumb. But then if we actually put ourselves in their shoes, we're like, oh, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. And then there's also like, but then what I'm getting back to now is that multifaceted gem that is shattered. And so that's the thing, it's like, we are all a reflection of God's character in some way or another. Like, I'm not talking so much about habits, but I'm kind of, like, again, going back to that kind of core part of who we are and the way we process and make decisions and kind of perceive things. So, I think that, right, people who, like, going to that example, like, are more outgoing or something, or are really comfortable around people, versus someone who's like maybe more shy or like introverted. And it's not to say one is better than the other, and I believe both are reflections of God, because his love for people and compassion. But then we also see, like, he needed, like, Jesus shows us that example humanly, like, that to take time for a moment to step back, have those intimate moments with the Lord, and to rest for a moment. And so it's like, he showed us a lot of, right, God's character, because he is Lord, in a more tangible way for us to comprehend, making himself flesh among us. So, to close it up here, as I'm just about to turn into the old workstead, like, here we are, all these pieces of this multifaceted jewel of glory and radiance. We're reflecting God's glory, right? And that's what we're designed to do. And when you pull us all together, like, we create, it's like these shattered pieces come back together, they create this whole, and that whole reflection of God. And so it's just such a beautiful thing. I really like that visual. And it's that classic thing, like unity, that everybody wants, right? And so it's hard for us in our differences to attain that, and especially without the Lord at the center of it, because that is where we spur from. That is our jam, our centrality, our core. We are from his image, so the best way to be in unity is, well, with him at our center. So, like, cool thought, So anyways, I'm gonna bounce, but praise the Lord for his goodness, for creating us in his image and creating us uniquely and differently, that we may learn from one another, grow from one another, and just love on one another, and be patient and kind, and appreciate the many beautiful facets of God's glory. And scene. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for more videos, and leave a comment for any creating or ramble ideas you'd like to see in the future. This has been KO, here with you to create eternal perspective.